Start by asking ourselves that what life consists of. So when we understand what life consists of, then there are two imperatives: to deal with the life situation as they come, because the situation keeps on changing, and to live in the world day by day, dealing with those situations. And second thing is to create today by understanding the principles, to create what is going to happen tomorrow as best as possible. So when we keep in mind these two imperatives in life, it helps us to understand little deeper that what life consists of, how to deal with the situations and conditions and events, how to live in the world day by day, how to create one's future, and how to discover the goal of life and pursue it to the end. So if you pick up the first question, what life consists of? So common understanding that life consists of body, breath, emotions, intellect, I thought, our profession, or you can say retirement, our house. So the world outside plus the body, breath, mind, intellect. This is how we always keep in mind, or mind always moves with this body, breath, mind, intellect, ego, plus our our health status, our house, etc., etc. But what we forget is that the consciousness is behind the body, breath, mind, intellect, and ego. Body minus consciousness, there is no body. Mind minus consciousness, there is no mind. Mind minus consciousness minus I thought, there is no I thought at all. That's what happens in deep sleep. That is the first thing we forget. And second thing we forget is that we do not forget, we live in delusion. What we live in delusion? Body is subjected to existence and non-existence. One day this body has to go. Why it has to go? Because before the date of the birth, it was not existent. It has to go. So we hold on to our breath, we hold on to our body deeply attached. So when we are deeply attached, the first reason of getting into emotional bondage and emotional dependence is this. I'm talking in a different way about the EFT. They talk in a different way, but we go a little deeper. So first, as long as I'm identified with the body, that very identification has a very deep sense of emotional dependence. So I can live with emotional dependence, or I can live with emotional freedom. So I have to deeply understand, appreciate, and understand that this body is subjected to, today it exists, tomorrow it may not. It is a fact, it is a naked truth. I should accept it. Then the life, now see another emotional baggage that we create. The life is subjected to hunger and the thirst. Life. One is body, the life. The life is subjected to hunger and thirst. What to eat, how much to eat, what not to eat. Yesterday the sugar was sweet, and now today sugar is poison because I'm suffering from sugar problem. So we give a label to the world outside, in the objects outside. Oh no, my husband listens to me. No, he doesn't listen to me. He was listening to me yesterday. Now he is not listening to me today. So why you are dictating? So that is another emotional level. Because I get emotional. Now you see that, I'm alone, lonely. You introduced me to one woman, last year. She joined a couple of the sessions, then she left, and she told me in one of the sessions, can you talk about loneliness? So when I suffer from that loneliness, it simply means I'm expecting someone to be with me. And why I'm expecting someone with me? To have a sense of belongingness. Why I want a sense of belongingness? To be happy. Very good. But you have to question again. That is happiness present in a person with whom I have a sense of belongingness? Answer is no. So we hide our emotional baggage, emotional dependence, or emotional attachment by living with a person and then getting frustrated. It's so simple. So the moment you don't think, then you get upset. And what do you mean by upset? It has some emotional baggage content. Third level of that emotional clinging comes from mind. The mind is always subjected to pleasure and pain with reference to the world. Oh, my son is not listening, so I'm sad. My son is listening, so I have a pleasure. Now that you can add this mental response and a reaction to any object, any person, any. It is natural, impulsive. Why I said it is natural? The way we learned, that I will talk later. And then comes the intellect. Intellect is also subjected to the emotions. This is the very deeper understanding of the Eastern wisdom. What our master says, that the intellect is subjected to strong likes and dislikes. So even how rational I am, I'm still subjected to likes and dislikes. So that the intellect is dictated again by the emotional baggage, emotional dependence. So you see that the body, birth and death, life, hunger and thirst, mind, duality like pain and the pleasure, victory and the defeat, and the intellect is subjected to likes and dislikes. All have different emotional content, emotional baggage in varying degree and intensity. You see the intellect. Intellect says, I like you. Mind says, you are my soulmate. And then the intellect creates a dislike. Now the mind says, you are my soulmate. So we are subjected to the pain and pleasure, strong likes and dislikes. It reaches to a point where the intellect says, enough is enough. Now I can't live with it. So let's have a divorce. Now if we ask ourselves that since our birth, the time we are born, we are not conscious. So that emotional dependence was a helper. How come it was helper? I could not think. There was no identity with I-ness. So I simply cried. It was impulsive emotional reaction for my hunger. And my mom fed me the milk. I was not aware that this is hunger. You see, emotional dependence. So those emotional dependence, or you can say the baggage, was a helper at the time of the birth, and it is a helper to every animal babies. How a baby can recognize his or her mother, it's a very strange phenomenon. But it is because of that emotional dependence. The existence has created such system. But if it continues, it becomes a barrier. If it continues, as we grow older, now I have a well-grown, mature, physically mature person, but emotionally I'm still a toddler. Because I continue those emotional baggage even after fair degree of intellectual development. So then there is a conflict between the emotions and the knowledge. Emotions and the intellect. So some people understands through the intellect. If the intellect guides the emotions, we can take over. But if the emotions guides the intellect, there comes the emotional challenges. Then we continue to keep. If you look closely in everyone's life, when I say emotions are now, the mind is guiding, dictating the intellect, means I have a fear related to the body, subjected to the birth and death. I have certain concerns about the life subjected by the hunger and thirst. I have deep concern about my pain and the pleasure. That is why we say, honey, you have given me too much of pain. And same thing happens in the intellect. So those impulsive emotional reactions at these four levels combines together creates a personality that is expressing its attitude and a behavior. We break up. So our master says, did you forget anything? Are you ignorant about one thing? That is very important. First ask yourself, are you the body? No. Are you the life? No. Are you the mind? No. Are you the intellect? No. Are you your ego? No. Then we say that body minus consciousness, body does not exist. Life minus consciousness, life does not exist. Mind minus consciousness, life, mind does not exist. And the intellect minus consciousness, intellect does not exist. Now come to the I thought, that ego minus consciousness, the ego does not exist. But which is a common factor in all? It is the consciousness. The next question comes, am I the consciousness? Eastern wisdom master says that yes, we are pure consciousness. What about the God? That consciousness is the God in you. What Jesus says, kingdom of God is within you. If the God has some human form, it cannot dwell within the heart. So he is talking about the consciousness. We say the same thing. All the masters point out the same thing in a symbolic way. But we claim that these religion and these are different. We are leaving that part. We have not to do with any form of religion. So now the beauty comes now. Miracle comes now. Consciousness plus body, mind, intellect, ego, I thought is personality. The personality expresses in the form of an attitude, behavior, responses, reaction. So now come to that consciousness plus personality. So once we discover that consciousness is independent, personality depends on the consciousness, consciousness is independent of the personality. That is what the real self is. So if I do not identify consciously all the time with that personality, I'm already free from today. Just now, there is a total emotional freedom. There is a total emotional freedom. But because we have intellectually understood, the knowledge is realized in stages. Step by step, we continue to grow, evolve into a higher consciousness. From that state of the consciousness, I see emotion related to the body, emotion related to the life, emotions related to the mind, emotions related to the intellect. I say, I hate you. Oh, intellect is rationalizing it, so I just become aware the hatred is mine. No, you give me lot of pain. Again, oh, it's the mind. I have deep concern for my survival pertaining to hunger and the thirst. No, I should eat this. So we should not be too much concerned about it. We should not get emotional. And then comes to the body. That fear, the fear of the death does not leave us. And that has a very strong emotional content. So out of the 4 emotional dependence, anyone can dominate at one point in life. So we have to start changing the very thinking pattern. For example, body is subjected to birth and death. So then we ask ourselves that what exactly is the birth and what exactly is the death. Science says that body replaces every cell every 7 years. So if I'm 49, this body, present body, is not the body which was at the time of the birth. Every cell has changed. The entire body has changed. Oh, so it means this body has already died 7 times if I am 49 years old? Answer is yes. Science says that if you rub both your hands, you have 50,000 cells are died and they are replaced by the new cells. Just by rubbing. How many times we rub? 50,000 cells are died and replaced by the new cells. It is happening all the time. So when I am thinking in this way, I am putting the knowledge into the mind. Mind understands. Don't get too much attached with the body. It is constantly changing. Constantly changing. So when we put the knowledge, we remove the ignorance. Breath is changing all the time. See that? Breath is also changing. So from there we derived a principle, whatever is changing is not permanent. I am seeking permanency where it is not permanent. I am seeking permanence of the body, but the body is changing. So the body can never have a permanent. Same thing with the brain. Same thing with the mind. Just check how much our mind has changed since our birth. Even since the last year, we had a different opinion about one person. Now we have a different opinion. You see that? Same thing with the intellect. Same thing with our ego. So the personality plus consciousness is what I am as an individual. So what is the consciousness or what is the real self? So personality, we can say it is a false self, or you can say it is the apparent I plus real I, that is consciousness, is equal to an individual. Mathematical equation. And then what is the real I? The real I, which is pure consciousness, is equal to an individual minus apparent I. What is apparent I? Body, breath, mind, intellect plus I thought. Where is the emotional baggage now? Where is the emotional dependence now? It belongs to the personality, not to the. And that is what the real I. Real I is of the nature of pure consciousness. That is why we say it is all pervading. It is of the nature of permanent peace and happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. So the first step is to listen to it and understand it and contemplate and reflect. Second is whenever we get carried away by the emotional baggage, let us start inquiring by thinking. I'm upset. So where is the upset in your body? Can you show me? No, it is in the mind. So obviously you have a mind. So show me where is the upset is there in the mind. So what is happening? We raise our level of awareness by asking this question. So we recognize that being upset is not present. It is in the mind, supported by some feeling. So when I raise the level of awareness, that very feeling subsides. And because the mind lives in higher awareness. And that is what happens in meditation also. In meditation, you just leave everything. You go beyond the body, the world outside in the body, breath, mind, intellect, and you land up into the state of no man's land. No, what is no man's land? Is no mind state, no mind. What is that state? A sense of emptiness. So every time we practice meditation, we experience that state. But if it is supported by the knowledge, why? So that it removes the ignorance. So all our emotional baggage and dependence belongs to ignorance. That we do not know who we are. Let us do the practice. Eyes are closed and you give me a good topic to talk about it. It gives me. So, being comfortable, find out the most comfortable position of your body. You can put the body in any state. Yes, you adjust and align the parts of the body, and then being comfortable. Pay attention what I say, so that you carry forward from emotional bondage to emotional freedom in each and every step. So I say, look at the head, look at the shoulder joint. Look at the shoulder joint. So it is a physical awareness. See that? It is your physical awareness. And then I say, move the mind within. That moving the mind within is rise in awareness. If you move the mind within the body, what do you see? Bones, blood, fecal matters, and long list. No, moving the mind within means the rise in awareness. Then what is your experience? Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. And again I say move within. There is another rise in awareness. So what happens? You see the space. The space is awareness, and awareness is the space. You see, there is an instant emotional freedom. Because I do not recognize, so the mind goes back. Look at the entire body. So it's a physical awareness. Okay. Then look at the experience, the sensation, comfort, and steadiness in that state. So it's a rise in awareness. As you rise in awareness, emotional baggage and dependence will never touch you. And then you are aware of the space, and space is awareness, and space is awareness. Now see the same thing, being carefree. What I said, lane 1 is unwelcome, unwanted thoughts. Unwanted thoughts are coming and going, let them come and go. It is pertaining to emotional dependence, my friend. Remember this. So who is aware of that unwanted, unwelcome thought? It is the lane 2 in the mind. If you understand the mind is like the highway which has 3 lanes. Lane 1, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are coming and going. That, what happens, if the lane 2, that is intellect, knowledge and awareness, if you are not aware, what is going to happen? Any thought your mind will pick up and will cause a feeling, will cause the emotional dependence. We are living consciously from moment to moment. That is the journey of the mindful. So the lane 2 recognizes the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are coming and going. The moment you recognize, you enter into lane 3. What is lane 3? It's a freedom. It is pure awareness. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. That gives you calmness and the peace instantly. Doesn't it happen that one is experiencing an anger and you pat on his and her shoulder, please calm down, let us sit and talk. You see that degree and the frequency of that raise drops down. Why? Only because now he or she becomes aware and separates that unwanted rays from himself. But as I said, this knowledge is realized in stages. The seed does not become a tree overnight. So what we did, we have sown the seed. We have sown the seed of knowledge. So we add another step. We add another step to make it stronger. As if you can say that you are watering the seed, putting the fertilizer. That is another way to understand. So we go little deeper. What is that deeper? You look at neck joint. No, you look at the head and the neck. So when I say look at the head and the neck, the mind moves on the skin of the head and the neck. Why we are doing this? We are doing this to raise awareness of the head and the neck. So what is going to happen? Rise in awareness is like a fire to melt emotional baggage or dependence or whatever you say that causes anxiety and reaction. So when you are there, what do you experience? There is an experience of sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Right arm. So mind is moving higher and higher. Right arm. Shape the right arm. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. So you stay there. In the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness, there cannot be the emotional challenges. Left arm, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Chest in the belly, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Right leg, shape the right leg. That is your physical awareness. And you stay there. You are aware of all the sensation. None of these sensation gets attached to any emotional reaction because of your higher awareness. The result is sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Left arm, left leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The entire body. You look at the shape of the body, the way it is sitting or lying down, whatever it is. So our mind has an ability that we can separate mentally the body from us and we can see it. So that is another state of rise in awareness, and that gives a sense of freedom. In that freedom we experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. So there are hundreds of tools available. Now we will use one tool in three different ways to have a sense of freedom. Look at the breath. The breath goes in and out. The moment the breath goes in, count mentally in one. The breath comes out, count mentally out one. In two. Mentally out two. Go on counting the breath. Here is simply counting the breath, my friend, in the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness of the body. Why? We do not want the mind should be divided. How simple the practice is. And now stop the counting of the breath. Do nothing for a while. Keep looking at the breath going in and out. So now when the breath goes in, drop the mantra on the breath going in and coming out. What is the mantra? Shantoham. With the meaning, with understanding. Shantoham means I am the peace. So the moment you drop this mantra, just be aware of the infinite space in you and out. The emotion baggage, emotional dependence restricts, finds, makes us, forces us to realize that we are limited entity. Limited entity. A sense of insecurity, anxiety expresses itself. Every time you're dropping the mantra and the breath, you align with the infinite space. Now leave the mantra, keep looking at the breath that is going in and out, feeling the sensation of the breath, and there is no change. You're just looking for no reason. Because if you give a reason, then the mind says, I will add emotions to it. So that is why keep on looking at the breath. Do nothing, remain as you are. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it in your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences and bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences now. How are you?
Okay, this was a very good session for me.